Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon One Pickups.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We are thrilled to death that you are listening to our show with us in some way, in some place in the world, wherever you are. Welcome. If you're new to the show, welcome with an exclamation point. If you're returning, welcome with an exclamation point. We love all of you just as much. We've got a very exciting show on because this is no less than the fifth time we have attempted to make this show happen. And we're just going to introduce this person. Who are you, person?
Hey, this is Dave Denton. I own and operate Seafoam Pedals.
Dave Denton, Seafoam Pedals. They'd be worn out by now.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, so we're really excited because, Dave was kind enough to let us play a full range of his pedals, and that was a long time ago.
Yes.
And, so
as I remember, they were all Seafoam green.
They were, and they all said
right.
Seafoam on them. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to ask Tony a quick question. Tony, what do you do? What do we do? What do we do on this show?
We like to talk about gear, and we like to talk to the people who make gear, specifically boutique gear. That would be things like guitars and amps and pedals and accessories, and sometimes we have these things we call 101s, and those are Jared's favorite, I think.
That's right.
He's a
And
fan.
that's where we learn specifics, but that's not tonight. Tonight we're talking about Seafoam Pedals.
That's right. So welcome again, Dave. Now, for those who are able to track where, the show via some kind of device, where can people find what you do?
So our website's up, seafoompedals.com, and then we're pretty active on Facebook and Instagram as well. If you want to hit us up there.
Awesome. So go check Seafoam out at your whatever your favorite digital platform is. And Dave, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from South Alabama.
South Alabama, which is kind of it's kind of weird to say South Alabama because the whole thing is south.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you have to make the distinction between South Alabama and North Alabama.
What is the distinction?
How can I say this politically?
maybe just skip right over that.
Yes.
Yeah, well, in South Alabama, it's a little more beachy down here.
Uh-huh.
We're at the Gulf Shore
Yeah.
of Alabama, so right next to the Mobile Bay, right next to the Gulf of Mexico.
Nice. Sounds mighty nice down there.
It's beautiful, man.
I have
Hence
been to the
Seafoam.
Gulf Shores down there. I have stayed there. Anyway, this isn't the geography thing. What am I? I'm so focused on this because I went there one time. Whatever. I'm an idiot. Let's see here. So we've got a couple of announcements real quick. We need to thank Rode thank you, Tony, for the Rodecaster Pro, our beautiful unit that makes this all happen. And we also need to thank Rode for our Procaster mics. Which
Tasty.
are disconnected from articulating arms right now. We all have desktop things of some sort or mic stands or whatever, but we can't wait to get back to them.
Yes, I'm developing a hunch in my back from not having an articulating arm.
Yes, and also leaning down to eat pizza.
No. I suspend a pizza in the air.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so I was just going to make a stupid joke.
Talk more about Rode.
Yes. So, yeah, exactly. Rode has provided these things for us, and they also recently provided a fantastic giveaway. If you are new to the show, we have giveaways for our patrons. We also do giveaways on our on Instagram too, but we try to give as many to our patrons for supporting our show. So if you are considering that is a bonus perk. I'm just saying.
He's saying it.
Yep. Oh yeah, we just gave away a Fopstar pedal on for our patrons too. So here we go. we need to get on with what's going on this week, gentlemen. So,
yes,
Tony Baloney, why don't you lead us off, and then we'll hear from Dave.
Okay. Well, this week it's kind of interesting. I've had a lot of things on back orders and in some, even locally and some things from around the country, some around the world, materials and such. And I was very pleased today. I order some parts and some materials from All Parts in Houston. And they have been kind of like really scrambling. I talked to John there, and he's the only guy that could hook up to the internet and the phone system. So he has been essentially taking all of the orders, helping with fulfillment, and helping things get shipped out. So I had to actually add a couple of more things to my last order, and they were able to ship things out today. So things are getting a little bit better. I've had some local companies where I get like templates laser cut, and my one guy has been busy making these called aerosol boxes. They're for anesthesiologists to put over the over the patient's head so that nothing splashes up at them. It's got like 2 armholes, and Don and Joe down there have been making these things I think we were making for everybody in the state of Ohio. It's like a clear plexiglass box. So he said, but I'll try to get your stuff worked in today, which, I understand. You got to make hay while the sun shines, as they say. But the good news is, at least from my perspective, is it seems like things are kind of getting back to normal. I guess we'll have to wait and see what normal actually is in maybe another month or so. But it's that's encouraging. Words of encouragement today from Tony at Pick Guardian.
Good. Dave, what is going on in your music world?
Oh, man. So my family is moving this week. So we're in the process of packing all of the gear up and getting everything in boxes to move over. And I pulled out, mine's more, a little more just practice related. I pulled out an old box of all these classical pieces that I did in college and started trying to brush up on them a little bit when I should have been packing. Mm-hmm. So I pulled out this Bach prelude in D minor and tried to work it back up. Just frustrated with myself that I can't play it. It was 10 years ago that I could.
On guitar?
On guitar, yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. I've only ever played it in G, so that's...
Oh, yeah.
I know it in F sharp.
Yeah. You're too late on that one, Tony. You gotta jump.
Oh
you gotta jump. Come on now.
Come on.
Killing you. Hey,
it is.
Jared, what's going on with you this week, buddy?
So, I had to get another gentleman pedal from our favorite gentleman, Drew Pape.
Has anyone ever suggested that you might have a sickness?
Yeah.
I'm not feeling the greatest right now.
Are you a Gemini by chance?
No.
Because you seem to buy everything in 2s.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes 4s.
He said he's getting another charger too, and I'm like, you like the same thing?
Challenger,
no,
dummy.
I don't.
Challenger.
He says, no, I don't. And I said, you got 2 of these. You got how many Marshalls you got? How many Les Pauls you got? How many SGs you got? How many?
I'm going to trade in the Challenger I have.
Yeah. All right. Anyways.
Yeah.
So you got another one of those gentleman pedals.
Well, it was purple. I had to get it. It was purple. Had to get it. I've got plenty of amps I can use it on.
He made he made one purple one, didn't he?
And I bought it.
Yeah, good man.
Yep. I sent him
out there.
I sent him a little more than he was asking. Those are really nice pedals, and he sent me actually an extra pedal. It's one of the pedals that changed the phase of your amp. I have to look into it a little better, but out of all seriousness, no, I've been playing music with my buddy again through.
You said that
GarageBand.
one last week was the last of that.
And the week before that.
No, it actually works. So
yes,
and we're doing well. So
excellent.
Another stunning update.
Can I talk about my metal labels again?
I said I got a new car. Well, what do you want from me?
Hey, that's
Can I make you some metal labels for your car?
Yeah.
Hey, I do have a question about
Sure.
for playing music with people online. Did you say you jammed with somebody like through a?
No, I didn't. We didn't play at the same time. He writes music and stuff, and I add the salt and pepper in it with my guitar.
They were just doing over GarageBand.
Oh, okay, cool. I've seen some online things where you can loop and kind of play live with somebody.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you'd kind of mess with that a little bit.
I mean, we probably could, but
So no.
just haven't.
That's
Yeah, I don't know how to do
Okay.
it, but
Yeah.
The answer is no. What's the question?
yes.
pretty much
Oh boy.
I could, but I can't.
Tony, jump in.
Oh, how about you, Todd?
Oh,
What's going
thank
on?
you. So this week, I was very excited because I was listening to sound bites of a new album coming out by X, which is one of my absolute all-time favorite bands. Billy Zoom was a huge influence on me as a guitar player. And so they've got a new album coming out called Alphabet Land, and I'm really looking forward to having it.
Oh, wow.
And that's one that I'm definitely going to go purchase because I want to support them. What's interesting is this is their first studio album in 35 years.
Yeah.
And it sounds awesome. Like I'm really pleased with what they've created. So that got me to going, hey, you know what? I'm gonna play along with some Billy Zoom. So I just started jamming out to like a whole bunch of. I just hit the this is X on Spotify and just played along. And
Nice.
I think my Hagstrom Viking basically kind of helped with that sound a little bit because he plays a Gretsch and they're a little similar there.
No, not
really.
at all.
Well, more similar than my Jazz Master Smasher thing.
Yes.
Anyways, it was a whole lot of fun, and I got really loud, and it made me happy. So thank you, Billy Zoom, John Doe, Exene Cervenka, and DJ Bonebreak for making amazing music still after all this time.
Is that the lineup for the new album?
That's the same. That's all the same people. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just saying because Dave Alvin played for a little while.
Yeah. Anyways, Jared, look out!
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor.
All right, Dave Denton from Seafoam Pedals. Let's finally hear your 4 on the floor. I've been waiting a long time to hear this.
All right, sweet. So first up, I always use a compressor. And there's a compressor that I love pretty much more than any other one that I've tried, which have been a lot. Because I play single coils into Fender style and Vox style amps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so just to beef them up and make them sound like a guitar should coming through the amp, I use a compressor. So the compressor that's on my board all the time is the Origin Effects Cali 76 Compact Deluxe.
That one has been on before, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's been on quite a few times. I used to have the huge unit that would take up about half a pedal board. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
The massive one. So I had that one, and at one point I had the slide rig, which is 2 of them in one box, but it's still, I want to say it was like a 10 by 5-inch enclosure. It was massive.
Yeah.
And so when they came out with the Compact Deluxe, that was a third of the size of the big one, I just said, I have to get that. Because at one point I had a mini board, literally all mini pedals with one huge slide rig sitting on the top of it. It was ridiculous. So that one is definitely the first in my chain if I could only have 4.
Well, you got to give it up to like them and like Exotic, and I'm trying to think of like a couple other that like, where they just kind of make the thing. They make the thing, and that's what they make, and that's what they're known for. And
oh yeah, you're talking about the SP compressor,
or the EP boost.
Oh, the EP boost.
So that's two things that they do.
And the SL drive is a great drive pedal too.
Yeah,
that's sure. three things that they do.
That's true.
Keep throwing letters at them.
My point has been made.
Yeah, just two letters and then some type of effect.
Yeah.
They have found the formula.
No one ever expects the Spanish Inquisition.
All right, Dave. What's number 2?
All right, so number 2, my favorite drive pedal of all time is a pedal that came out oddly pretty quickly after the Klon was released. And Maxon, the original Tube Screamer company, and I'm sure there's people that would fight me on that. But Tube Screamer developers, I'll say that.
Yes.
They released a pedal called the OD820, their Overdrive Pro, shortly after the Klon was released. And it features some of the same type of circuitry as the Klon. It has internal 18 volt, so it doubles from 9 volt to 18. And it also has, on the gain pot, it's a dual concentric pot, a dual gain pot that does a clean blend and gain.
Ooh, I like that.
Just like the Klon. So basically, they took some of the features of the Klon and applied it to a Tube Screamer circuit.
The perfect storm.
And they called it the Overdrive Pro, the Maxon OD820. And that pedal is also huge. Is about half the size of those original Origin compressors.
Oh, wow.
It's in their Classic series, which are just like, if you've ever seen the 80999, which is a great delay pedal that they make, they're in this huge enclosure. The circuit board takes up about a quarter to a third of it, of course. And the rest of the space is for magic.
Yeah, but the air around it creates the tone of the pedal.
That's right.
Like
that's what I keep on telling people that are making Klon clones. It's the space. It's that custom enclosure. That's what it is. The resonance.
Yeah.
And the paint color too.
That's right.
It's like when you look at the inside of a fuzz face, you're like, what the? Why do I have a mic stand base for a pedal and like a nickel's worth of electronics in here? What is going on?
There's less than what's in my guitar.
Yeah.
Inside of this pedal.
Wow. Crazy pants. What do you got for number 3?
All right, so number 3, and this is pretty typical because I play a lot of contemporary Christian genre style music and then some country. So you got to work on delay, right? Mm. We're all very thankful for the Edge and YouTube. So it would have to be the Strymon Timeline.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
So this one, I remember when the pedal came out. I remember some friends of mine being on the waiting list to get it, and I thought they were crazy, and then I played one of them. They finally got their Timeline. I played it, and I ordered it that day.
Really?
Such a good pedal. And it does things that other pedals... It's funny, it's been out, and I forget how long it's been out. I want to say it's been maybe 9-10 years.
I think you're right. It's one of the older ones in the series.
Yeah. So it's been out a while, but still the algorithms that are on it are just so good, so clear. The analog is great. It has a really cool tremolo delay. So that would be number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course you've got a billion pre's. You could put every song that you could ever play into the pedal.
Now, do you use all of those? Or are you like everybody else is like, I have 3?
Yeah, I rock back and forth between about 4. I use about 4 to 5 of the algorithms.
That's
and
impressive.
So for each of those, I kind of have a preset I kind of have a preset that I go to. Like I use a dual delay. I typically run in stereo through the next pedal, but I'll wait a second on that. But I've got a dual delay that has a dotted eighth on one side and a quarter note on the other side. I use the analog a lot. I use the tape echo a lot. And then I'll use a lo-fi occasionally, and then the tremolo occasionally.
Well, there's a reason that everybody loves that pedal. Well, you just gave several of them,
sure.
actually. So, how about number 4?
So number 4, I was kind of torn between two pedals. But just for the sheer amount of power and the things that this can do, I'm going to have to say the Line 6 HX Stomp.
Okay.
The near contender was an Eventide H9.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's a kind of utility, do-it-all type of pedal for me. But the HX having the ability to load your own impulse responses, and if anything ever happens, I can go straight direct. If the amp goes down live, being able to plug straight in, and plus the reverbs, the delays, they're okay. They're hard to dial in for me. I don't know if anybody's had the same experience, but the delays, it seems like the mix, you get to 40%, you can't hear it. You get to 50%, and it's blowing you away.
Oh, that's weird.
It's just like some of the controls for the delays are a little tough for me, but the reverbs are great. If I ever need to do like a dual effect where one side's a phaser and the other side's a vibrato, something super strange, you can route it on that pedal. I'm not saying that I would ever use that sound.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with that. Is this about like a pretty large pedal? It sounds like it's got to be at least.
No, so this one, it's about the size of the timeline. So
okay.
You've probably seen like the Line 6 Helix. That's the massive, the full, and then they have a rack that's just as big as the Kempers.
Mm-hmm.
But this is their little HX Stomp unit.
Okay.
So it has 6 of the blocks that you can fill up.
Okay, I'm sure I've seen it, but I'm trying to picture it in my head.
Yeah,
right now.
I think Drew was talking about either that particular one or some of the things that he uses on stage rigs.
Yeah,
it's kind of similar to the Strymon layout. It's got the 3 foot switches on the front of the pedal, and then it has the screen where you
Line
lay
6
out your whole
HX
effects chain.
Duh, I'm an idiot.
No, not the HX effects. The HX Stomp.
Not the HS effects. I'm an idiot. The HX Stomp. Yeah, no. Drew was talking about the HX effects. That's right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, the effects you can pull in whatever you want to. The Stomp also has their amp sim, and you can load in your own impulse responses.
Yes,
so
they're the same exact price.
Can go direct from this unit. Isn't that crazy?
That is.
Now you can pull in more effects on
like
the
a full
HX
rig
effects.
in a rig. It's like a full rig right there.
Yep.
If I had a pedal board, if I had to fly and could only carry one pedal, that would be it.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to get one of these little guys and check this.
Get one of each.
Because I don't. I don't have
Get
one
2.
of these. Hey,
You
Line
need 2 of
6,
each.
I'm just saying, send us one.
If you're Jared, you need 2 of each.
Of course.
2 of these.
Yeah.
If 2's the minimum,
Yes.
everything's stereo.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool, man. And that's a white pedal too. You got it's all white, right?
No, it's black.
It's all black, right?
Like you were saying, Todd.
Yeah, just like you were saying.
I'm looking at one that's white, so I just
What?
I don't. Yeah, it's a white one.
You sure you're not looking at the negative image?
I'm positive.
Yeah, we're gonna have them go into settings. Yeah.
High five, Tony, on that one.
Yeah, I'm giving you a virtual high
appreciate
five
that.
on that.
That's the best fun I've had all day. All right, so that's a pretty solid board you got there, Pally. I'm really intrigued by the HX Stomp too, because I think that's something I'm not going to say it out loud. I'll muffle speak it like, I'm afraid something's going to happen during a live show and I'm going to be screwed. So that might be something for me to look into. Awesome. So we're going to get into the interview, but first we got to make a pit stop at Relay Recording and say thank you to John Findle.
Hey, John.
Yep, for helping us out with housing our show and for being just an all-around great guy. And on top of that, he is one heck of a recording engineer, mixer, masterer, producer extraordinaire. Because he loves guitar and he really, really, really understands guitar tone.
I think he likes all instruments.
He likes all instruments, but he loves guitar. And so, anyways, if you are interested in getting your music mastered, mixed, produced, engineered, recorded, all those things, any of those things, you can go to johnfintel.com, JONFINTEL.com, and also check out relayrecording.com. He's a good dude. So,
we miss you, John. We haven't seen you in a while.
That is true. We do miss him. Interview time. Are you ready for your interview, Mr. Man?
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. The floor is yours. We're going to take a break. Go ahead and talk, and we'll be back in about 20. No.
See ya.
Oh, my gosh. That's how it felt last time. Dude, my heart is racing right now. Don't do that to me.
Yeah, are you just going to text me, Todd, when I should come back on?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So,
oh, man.
So, Dave,
you can't leave an introvert to just talk by himself online.
We won't do that. We're gonna walk you through this with just like a lovely Southern waltz. Yes, it's gonna be beautiful. All right. So you make the Seafoam pedals, and you've got a pretty wide range of them out there right now, and they're beautiful. They look great. They sound great. They all look, well, at least all the ones we got, they were all the same color. It was kind of nice. You like line them all up, and you're like, hey, there's a whole family of this stuff here.
Thanks, dude.
How long have you been making the Seafoam pedals?
So Seafoam Pedals started in 2014. I've been making pedals for about 4 years, just kind of messing around with small circuits. I made tap tempos, expression knobs, volume knobs, and started into pedal modding, just like most builders do. Started messing around. At the time, the big pedals were the Line 6 M9 and the Boss DD20. And this is right around 2010. So I started modding those pedals to take one tap tempo input together. And then I got circuitry. I made the DD20 send tempo over to the M9, and I thought I was a genius. So just that modding made my friends start realizing, hey, he can mess with pedals. So a buddy of mine gets me to rehouse two of his pedals into one box, make a double barrel style pedal from an original Morning Glory, JHS Morning Glory, and a RC booster. And so I put them both in one box, and he said,
the only thing I wanted, sounds awesome.
Yeah. He's like, I want it in seafoam green, and I want cream knobs on it. And so I ordered this dual pedal for him, painted this color, and I put it together and just went, man, that's beautiful. And the buddy actually says, like, you should build all your pedals this color. And, you know, I took that dumb idea and I kept on doing it.
That's cool. I mean, I like when people have like, this is a thing. This is the thing I chose, and it's working. It's good. I hope if I ever tried doing anything like that, that I would have the wherewithal to do that.
Or just get smart buddies.
Yeah, smart buddies. Well, that's a little late for that.
Gosh.
I don't know if you've met Tony and Jared, but
oh my goodness.
Oh boy, no, I love them. So, do you have when you say you just started modding pedals? Is that something that you just kind of went into blindly? Did you have a background in doing this kind of stuff, or what?
My background is, I say that I started college as an electrical engineer, and that's true. I had one semester of electrical engineering at University of Alabama, and it was so big. And then I switched to a music degree at a smaller school here where I live.
Wow.
So Honestly, I hated the math.
Yeah. That a boy. I'm no good with math either.
The problem was I was good at it. I just had this massive headache every day after doing it at school.
I'm good at math too.
And I just, oh my gosh. Yeah. So, and I love music. I wanted to play music, write music, teach music. And so I figured I might as well do that at school. I got a great opportunity with a scholarship to come to a school in Mobile. So I took it.
Now you said Mobile.
Mobile.
So when people say, "Where's Mobile?" Is that does everybody else get it wrong? It's Mobile.
Yeah, typically everybody says mobile.
Yeah, or Mobile.
I can tell you from out of town if you say Mobile, Alabama.
I always
but
knew
it's
it was Mobile.
Yeah, but he's got the accent. He's got the emphasis at the Mobile.
It's Mobile. I'm from
Mobile.
Mobile.
All right,
Mobile, burn.
Okay.
Mobile.
All right.
Mobile.
Anyway,
Dang straight.
So
I want some more, Bill.
Okay, Jared. Before you insult
who pulled the string on that.
Before you insult all of Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm about to say, Todd, it's probably going to be another 4 years before I'm back on the show.
Yeah.
So to put us on the map, this is the original Mardi Gras place.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. So Mardi Gras originated in Mobile and then moved on over to New Orleans.
Huh.
Why?
New Orleans.
No, that's a whole other history class, Jared. We're not getting into that.
Because they have better musicians in New Orleans.
Oh,
wow.
For sure.
So now, yeah, okay.
And much poorer musicians.
Now I don't feel so bad.
Yeah. So, Dave, you exit out of electrical engineering, but this brought you back in, I'm assuming.
It did. I'd always been a student after that. I loved kind of just the concept of creating something with circuitry. If I rewind all the way, and I think every young boy did this maybe, like every toy that I would get that was electronic, I would completely take apart.
Mm-hmm.
Batteries, speaker, the circuit board, and just look at it. I don't think I would ever put it back together, but I just wanted to see the guts of stuff.
Yeah. Jared ate them, so it's not exactly the same thing, but
I was hungry.
It's pretty close.
Okay, so fast forward from your childhood youth.
And then all the way here. So I found a lot of good resources online, and I kind of kept on studying just in my own spare time. I wasn't planning on building pedals, but I just thought, hey, this is really cool. Like you can change an audio signal by sending it through different circuitry. So I read the kind of breakdowns of different effects and what they do and how they do it. And that kind of led me into modding pedals. The first pedal I ever modded was a Rat. And I did a couple different mods that I found online, and I got into it. I loved it so much that I wanted to build something that was kind of like that. And so in 2010, I started kind of toying around with this circuit that I found online that was a transistor drive. The first time I plugged it in, it was just like a buzz machine. Of course, I threw it in the closet, forget about it for a couple of years. But then when I rehoused the pedal, and the guy told me, you should build all your pedals this color. I thought, if I'm going to do a brand, I might as well release an original pedal and let that kind of be the first one I release. So I started working towards this transistor drive. And the problem I was having with the circuit is I loved it because it wasn't op amp like your typical blues breaker or Rat or Klon or Tube Screamer. This one was really wide open. It sounded like an amp just got turned up a little bit. But the trade-off was it was really buzzy and fuzzy in the top end. Like you would turn it up and you would get way more of that cone cry where the speaker,
gosh, that's a cool word. I've never heard that word. Cone cry?
Cone cry. It's towards the tail end of notes when the speaker is kind of giving out a little bit and you hear that right towards the end. So the trade-off with the circuit sounding so huge and wide open and not really cutting off a lot of low end and high end, and having that preset op amp to do your amplification. It was, you got a lot of that, a lot of low end flub, a lot of high end buzz, and kind of fizzle up there. Mm-hmm. And so I started looking through ways to filter that out, but still keep the massive EQ kind of scope. Mm-hmm. So I kept on designing it, and I started building like little, just one knob pedals of this circuit, and just selling them to friends. And I think I sold those for, I don't know, the price I had them, which was like $30 or $40, just to a bunch of friends. And they started using them and loving them, just to crank the gain up a little bit. It was basically like a boost, but it had a little bit of drive in it. And I just thought, hey, I'm going to send one of these to this pro player I know. His name is Sean Tubbs. At the time, he played with Carrie Underwood. And so I just thought, because he was demoing some pedals, I said, if he got this pedal and he liked it and he put it on his board, that was the dream for me. Like, if I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to make it legit and see if I can get some pro players backing it. So I sent him a pedal, and the dude takes time out of his schedule to call me. And he literally told me, he's like, man, I get 10 boxes a week. Like, he gets 10 pedals, new pedals every week for him to try out. But he took time. He called me, talked to me for 30 minutes about the pedal, and essentially told me that it sounded okay. The gain doesn't really do anything. He's like, you got to make it actually do something, because right now it just sounds like a boost. He's like, also the guts look like a kindergartner wired it up.
Ouch.
So you're going to have to do something about that. And so, yeah, I picked my pride back up off the floor, and I kept on kind of designing it a little bit. And by this point, so that was around 2015 is when I sent him the first one. We were having kids. Right now we have 3 kids. At the time we had 1 kid. We just had a kid, so I put the pedals on the back burner, because this has always been an external thing for me, more like a creative outlet than like a full-time business. So it was on the back burner. In 2017, another friend of mine said, hey, that low tide pedal that you used to sell to friends, I want to buy one. And so I was thinking about Sean Tubbs' advice about making it, putting the circuit board in it and making them legit. So I started researching into how to do that. And I got a CAD program for the computer and put in my whole schematic. And this is one that I'd kind of been working on and off for 7 years, And so by that time, the original transistor circuit that I'd gotten, it was so far removed from that first circuit that it was something kind of unique on its own. And I'm sure there's other circuits, because there's only so many ways you can clip an audio signal. I'm sure there's other circuits that are close to it. But so I put my schematic in, I've laid out the PC board, and I got that first order of PC boards back that had been manufactured, and I'm populating them. And it was so cool to see something that it was so handmade, and then all of a sudden it looks like all these other pedals that I've seen other companies produce.
Cool.
And it was like, that was the light bulb moment, like, hey, I could actually do this. So I sent Sean one of those. I ordered 10 of them because that was the minimum that I could do. So my buddy bought one, and he actually paid for the whole batch by buying one.
Wow.
And then I sent Sean one. I sent a few other friends, just kind of session players and live players, friends of mine. And so he tries it out, and he says, yeah, man, this thing is really good. It could use some tweaking in these areas. He gave me a great piece of advice for any pedal builder listening. He gave me this advice that if you design a pedal on the bridge pickup, he's like, especially the bridge pickup of a Tele, if it works on that position, it'll pretty much work with anything else.
Oh, yeah.
That's good advice.
I just thought that was great advice from this pro player. So I did that. I got my Tele, put it on the bridge pickup, plugged into like a Fender Deluxe reverb, and just made it work in that scenario. And then he sent me back a recording of him playing it, which was super useful, because I was like, man, the bass is way too heavy. And so you'll see some low tide, and this is the low tide circuit I'm talking about. You'll see some low tides floating around out there. I think I made about 30 or 40 that only have 4 knobs. It's funny because one of my friends still gets kind of picky about his 4 knob low tide. And I'm like, bro, they're the same circuit. I just added a bass knob. But no, he wants the old, which is fine. So I sent him that one, and then 2017, he says, yeah, man, this is a great pedal. I'd love to demo it for you. So he demos, and that really puts Seafoam Pedals on the map for the first time. All of a sudden, Sean Tubbs has demoed my pedal, and I'm getting requests like crazy, like, to send to different people and to send to shops and let people try it out, hear it.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. It's a good story. I like a good story behind a pedal origin. I'll take a bad story too if you're a funny enough chap.
I'll give you some of those, yeah.
So you got that one out there. That's cruising along. I think that might be the first one that we talked about when we connected. So from there, you're just off to the races.
Yeah. So after the low tide, and after that release of the 5 knob, I'm extremely happy with the circuit. I start looking to design a second, and it's one of those that I don't want to take it lightly. I don't want to copy something that's already out there. For one thing, this is the 3rd job that I do. It's not worth the time if I'm just going to clone something and sell a bunch of them.
Absolutely. I
want to make something that's truly unique that you don't really find somewhere else. And I know people use that for a marketing thing, but I hope you hear my honesty in this. I don't want to make something that somebody else has made, especially if they make it better and I'm just doing a kind of clone of it. That hurts my heart to think, why would I be creative and put in all this effort to make the circuit board and produce these things? Mm-hmm. Which is probably why I may not do a delay ever, because I don't know if I can compete with the timeline.
Well, that's a pretty high bar there, Buckaroo. You could make a really simple delay and make it really great.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about what am I going to design next, and at the time I had an EP booster on my board. Speaking of exotic, and I found myself using it as an on all the time type of pedal, which most people kind of do that with the pedal. It has this mid scoop, really nice thing that, especially if you're playing a Vox style amp, it kind of evens out everything.
That's my favorite.
Which is cool. And so I was playing I had a Hammered AC-15 at the time, and I switched over to I started playing kind of Fender style, like a Fender Deluxe style amp a little bit more. It was actually a Morgan SW22, which it's like a Fender Deluxe reverb with a solid state rectifier.
Gotcha.
So I started playing that. The EP booster wasn't really cutting it, but I still played AC30s when I was doing studio sessions. So I wanted something that kind of gave me that boost option that I was looking at. And I just decided, hey, you know what? I'll just make a boost, and I'll kind of give it all the options that I would like in a boost pedal. Because with the EP booster, I thought it was really cool, but I was using a separate drive to just add a little bit more. And so I would use those, if I wanted to use those, I would use them kind of with each other, like in tandem together, instead of one by itself. So I started looking into designing a boost circuit, and I wanted it to be really simple, but I'm not simple, so it ended up getting more and more complex. So over the course of a few months, I designed this thing that had 2 3-way switches on it. And I ended up the first drawing was 1 switch, 1 knob, just boost. But I kind of worked myself up, and I was going to do 2 tiny knobs, 2 3-way switches, and 1 big knob for a mini boost. And I was like, man, that's way too many things. And so I scaled it back. I took the knobs off, 2 of the knobs. I left 1 knob, and I did 2 3-way switches. One is for just a clean option, a drive option, and then basically the drive option is a kind of lifted circuit from like a tube screamer gain stage.
Gotcha.
And then the third option is the clean boost going into that gain stage, just for like a boosted into distortion type of sound. And then I did 3 tone options instead of a tone knob. So just like full blown, one that has a little bit of low end cut, a little bit high end cut, and then one that just has low end cut for some different options for tone. And then I want to say it was my wife that had the idea to make the knob light up instead of putting an LED in it, and then calling it the lighthouse.
See, every good man's got a good woman behind her, right? I mean,
yep.
Yeah.
So, I won't tell you what she said when the first drawing came back, but yeah, she's funny. So that one, oddly enough, so like when you're designing these pedals, you order rounds of basically prototyping PC boards. So like you prototype it on a breadboard, and then you go and you put it in your CAD program on the computer, and you draw your schematic, you lay out a PC board, and then you order them in. And then most of the time, probably if you're way more advanced than I am, your first one probably works every time, your prototype. For me, I miss small things. So there's a few orders of prototyping boards that go on before I ever release something. But with the Lighthouse, the first prototyping board came in and it was great. Loved it. So I was able to pop those into enclosures and sell those first thing.
That's fantastic. I like that that there's an option floating out there for the EP boost, because it's such a great pedal, but depending on what your amp you're working with or what kind of tone you're actually trying to go for, the magic thing that it does could be fighting you a little bit, especially if you're trying to cut, through the mix a little bit. So, yeah. That's a handy thing out there, people. If you've been trying the EP, or you've had one, or you just saying like, I don't want an EP because everybody's got an EP, then this is a really good option for that. You've got another, I think maybe your big one out there. If you want to talk about the Trident really quick, because that's an impressive pedal. When you get something on it with 6 knobs and 3 multi switches, you're in business. So let's hit that real quick.
All right. So like I said in the For the Floor, the Maxon OD820 is one of my favorite drive pedals ever. I mean, I'll say it's my favorite drive pedal ever. And so because I was using, after the Low Tide came out, I had been using previous versions of it, but I always had that Maxon OD820 on the board. And I started looking at it like, man, this thing is huge. You do different board layouts and you just go, if this pedal was the size of a normal pedal, I could fit 2 other pedals on this board. But it's not. And so, but my whole mindset is I don't want to just rip a circuit. So when I thought about, what would be the best way to release a pedal that's like this, but in a format that somebody hasn't seen before. So I started designing and kind of, I have the brain trust of guitar friends that live around me, just good friends of mine that I'll call and talk to for hours, just like dreaming up stuff. Like, what if we did this or this or this? And so I started kicking around the idea of like, what if I made a circuit that's like the OD820, but made it different in some way? And I want to say, I think it was a session buddy of mine that's in Nashville was like, man, you should find a way to mix it with another effect so that like you have 2 effects in one pedal, essentially. And so I started looking down that road. Like, my first thought was, maybe a chorus or a reverb or a delay or, something mixing drive with those. And a lot of that has been done before. But then I had the thought, what if I actually mixed it with a good 3-band EQ? And of course, like in one of those dreaming conversations with a friend of mine, I was talking about, what do you think if I just put like a 3-band EQ on it? And he was like, oh, you mean like the Wampler Clarksdale? I was like, dang it. And so like in talking with him, I was going, well, what if each band of EQ had its own gain knob? And the more I thought down that trail, I just went, you know what? I would need 3 parallel circuits of this huge pedal in one tiny pedal. Like that would be too many guts to put inside one pedal. And plus I have a preamp circuit that I just love. I use this Burr Brown op amp that's just, it's a beautiful kind of a buffer and boost circuit. And I set up the front end of all my pedals and the back end of all my pedals with that one circuit. And that one's free for you guys listening.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like the idea. I'm amazed that you got all this into that little pedal. But this would also be just in case you ever want to do like a, take a cue off of Electro Harmonics and do like a deluxe size, on a bigger format. That would also be, really nice and really impressive. Special run. I'm just saying.
Huh. That'd be cool. So there's a local shop that I love that carries my pedals, and one of the techs there was saying, he's like, man, the Trident, he's like, just for like your guitar player that just wants a tube screamer, he's like, this pedal is such a hard sell because it's 3 in one pedal.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you should look into doing like the 500 series Euro rack, for all of the synth guys that are out there. And actually like do outputs and inputs for each band of EQ so they can go and put whatever other effects just on the mid-range or just on the treble or just on the bass that they want to. He's like, just imagine if somebody plugged in like a synth bass into this and they wanted to put a flanger on the mid-range and like a sub bass just on the low end, and then like, put, kind of an air type of overdrive on the treble.
That's a lot. That's a lot of different sounds.
Yeah, that's something for sure. But that was the origination of that. So I took the OD820 circuit. I replaced their buffer, their boost, with one that I like much better, and I kind of tweaked the circuit where it doesn't go as crazy or as crazy on both sides for the low gain and the high gain. I really want it to be voiced. When like somebody turns it on with every knob at 12 o'clock, I want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
And then you can tweak from there. And that's the way that I test gear.
Yeah.
Like if something doesn't sound good with all the knobs on the amp at 12 o'clock, the guitar all the way up, all the knobs on a pedal at 12 o'clock, I'm not going to take my time to keep on tweaking and tweaking.
That's what Tony and I were discussing.
Because I can make it sound...
We were messing with the Small Sound Big Sound Mini, and I just said, just put it all at 12, man. Thanks, sounds amazing. And
high noon.
You didn't have to do much else.
I think that's a big part of designing.
Yeah.
You want to get all of your levels to where when the knobs are there at 12 o'clock, that's how you want the pedal to sound.
So you've shared I think at least 2 really good, little nuggets of information. The noon thing, which we've heard from other builders say that, but maybe someone who hasn't listened to the show as many times or something may not have heard that. You also dropped the whole the piece of advice about
designing with a Tele bridge pickup.
That one, yes. And so I guess my question, as we're going to be wrapping this up, is: do you have any 1 or 2 other really great pieces of advice, something that you've learned that really helped you or that was passed on beyond besides those things?
That's a big question, bro. For me, probably just the community that comes with building pedals, and being able to reach out to people and ask questions, and just knowing that a lot of these people that we view as either big companies or kind of the bigger boutique or small companies, they're just guys and girls like us, and they want to help. It's crazy how much people want to help. I've made good friends, and I've had people just send over pieces of advice and pieces of knowledge that I needed for a particular project. Like by offering, even sending their Eagle files, like their schematics, their code for certain things. But that comes from also being giving and being open and being friendly to these people too.
Mm-hmm.
So my piece of advice for anybody that wants to build pedals or is kind of stuck somewhere and you're trying to design something, reach out to a friend or go make a new friend. Reach out to somebody through their site, through their Instagram, and ask for advice there. It is closer to a person than you think it would be.
Yeah. I think that is pretty solid advice. I'm not even building stuff, and I love talking to the builders. Obviously, that's why we do the show. But aside from what's on the show, when just through Instagram and stuff, just having these conversations, and people are so eager, like you said, and communicative and supporting each other. It is really great to see when people are commenting on posts, or it's good. And I don't know if other hobby sort of worlds are as much like that, maybe. And I'm sure they're friendly, but to the degree that they help, because everything in life, not everything, but a lot of things in life can feel like a competition. And if you've got some secret, I know, at least for myself, when I was coming up in the design world, and learning tricks and stuff of the trade with design and computers and all that stuff, is like there were a lot of people that just, man, they would not share their knowledge. It was like, nope, that's mine. That's going to make me my name, and that's my gold, my bubbles. So to have somebody that just freely gives that is really fantastic.
I think people, if you really start looking into it, there's only so many ways to clip an audio signal.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so many ways that you can build a pedal. And it's like the competition thing is almost like being a musician in Nashville. You have to do it right, and you have to be a nice person about doing it too.
Yeah. Because
everybody's a pro player there. And just like, you reach out to any company, and everybody is a great builder. Like all these other boutique builders like me, they've done their homework. They've designed something that they really love and personally use.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you can be open, because you can trust whoever has done it too. Like another company, I know they've put in the effort, they put in the work, and they're not asking for a handout from me. And they're asking because they're legitimately stuck somewhere.
Yeah. So when you get a pedal from somebody, or you see a pedal, especially like, if you go to a show or whatever and you pick it up, like, are you now, without hearing it, let's say you can't hear it, are you a knobs guy, or a graphics guy, or I don't know?
I pick the pedal up and I push the stomp switch about 100 times. And I don't know why I do that. And I know the only thing I'm doing is just like feeling the life cycle of that switch.
Yeah.
But like, I'll look at the pedal if I can. If there's a screwdriver around, I'll open it up and look at the guts of the pedal.
Yeah.
That's just what I want to see, because I want to see. I'm a knob layout and design guy. I want to see, like, are the knobs laid out in a cool way? Does it make sense? Like, could I just look at the pedal and immediately dial in something?
Yeah. Solid, man. Well, Dave, I really appreciate you sharing the story of your pedals and how you got started, and all of the little bits of wisdom, and in in sort of a slow Southern way, I might say.
All right.
Yeah,
Todd,
we're just gonna let
Tony,
that ride.
Jared, thank you all so much for having me on. This is a blast.
Absolutely.
You're welcome. You're welcome, but not so fast, my friend.
You're not getting away. No.
Uh-oh.
It's one of our favorite times of the show. And that's a little ditty we like to sing. It goes like this. Would you rather? All right.
That's a short one. You got to get on with your anniversary.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. That's all we'll say about that. This is from our buddy James Pennington. He's a new executive producer. Thank you,
right.
James. Welcome aboard. Would you rather pick between, listen to this, Jimi Hendrix full 1970 rig, which is just full of Marshalls and all sorts of Jimi Hendrixy stuff, or Stevie Ray's
does the jacket
big
come
giant
with it?
rig? Yes, the jacket with the big giant gold buttons. Yeah. Or do you want Stevie Ray Vaughan's rig? Or from 1987.
Okay.
But you can't use a Fender Stratocaster. What's your guitar choice? So this is really a guitar. What are you going to choose? What are you going to choose to play through these two rigs?
Yeah.
And whatever your guitar you pick, the G string pops.
Yes. So you've got no G string. You can't use
definitely not a floating bridge.
You can't use a Strat. So, hooray for that. And then, so let's talk. Let's just really quickly identify a couple things on Jimmy's rig. Tony and Jared and everybody chime in. So we got big giant Marshall stacks.
Bigs.
Yeah, we got. Would that be fuzz face
the
time?
the fuzz face. You got
face,
the
wah pedal.
The what's the phaser thing that he used, Tony?
Oh,
the Univibe. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So Univibe, fuzz face, and a
wah pedal, of course, a crybaby wah pedal,
and the big giant Marshalls cranked.
Yeah, with the roadies behind them trying to hold them up.
And then lighter and lighter fluid.
Yes.
Yep.
And then we got Stevie Ray, who I'm not as up on all of the. Yeah, I know Tube Screamer. He's a Tube Screamer guy, right?
That would have been. I mean, that was an effect that he used, but I mean, I think a lot of his tone came from
Strymon Timeline.
A lot of the amps. Yeah.
Yeah.
His 11
he was a Fender guy, right?
Yeah.
Because he would use Fender like Vibroluxes that were modified. Mm-hmm. I think maybe by Paul Rivera. I can't remember. There was one of the builders that went on later, but did a lot of the mods down in Texas. And and he was obviously known for Strats. But there are a couple of other part Strats.
Pretty clean
that
tones.
He played.
I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing he probably had some compression on that too. I mean,
and he had a wah. Cool. He used the wah. So
wah.
So Tony Baloney, what are you doing here?
I'm gonna say, I think I am going to go with the Stevie Ray Vaughan rig. Because I have nothing against Marshalls
stuff.
I do. I can't help it. Although his amps were modded, I think that they were, a little higher output, a little darker probably. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely more up my alley than, Jimmy's 8x12 cabinets and all those fun things.
What kind of guitar are you taking?
I'm going to just take a Telecaster.
All right. There you go.
That's because that is the Swiss Army knife of guitars.
That's a weird thing to say because it's not the Swiss Army knife. It's the exact opposite of a Swiss Army knife.
A Strat is the Swiss Army knife.
No, Strat is
hammer.
not. Yes, it's the Swiss Army hammer. Swiss Army hammer. I like that. That's a better way to put it.
Exactly. Jared, how about yourself?
I will go with the Jimi Hendrix rig and, a custom Les Paul.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, whatever.
What color is your custom Les Paul?
Hey, what, are you going to have some Moxes on there and maybe a couple of, Drew Foppy thingies, gentlemen?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially that rig. You need one of those.
Yeah, I would think you need at least two.
It's going to go gentleman ox, gentleman ox.
I'll take my personal 1979 natural Les Paul that is really darked out,
Okay, perfecto. Dave, what are you doing?
Sweet. Man, I gotta say, Tony took mine. I'm not happy about that.
Well, we can share. I mean, I'm an easy guy to
Tony
get
likes
along
it when
with.
people share with him.
We can have joint custody.
No, yeah, for me, it's the Stevie Ray Vaughan rig. I've just lived in the Fender world of amps more than the Marshall world, and so I would know what to get from a tube screamer and those and a Telly.
Yes. Very good. We're on the same team. We have our own island. I know what Todd's going to do.
What
just Tellys, tube screamers, and Fender amps.
I think I can predict what you're going to do, Todd.
What are you gonna predict?
I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna say "aha" when you say it.
He's gonna wait till you say it.
I'm gonna wait till you say it so I can say "aha."
All right. Here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go for the Marshall stack.
Aha!
Yeah,
knew it.
I didn't. I figured you thought I'd take something else, Tony.
I thought you were going to go the other direction, actually.
No, and I'm going to take. I'm gonna go over to our friend Billy Rowe at Rock and Roll Relics, and I'm gonna get one of his Starfighter carved tops with a gold glitter top. That's what I'm doing. Yes.
You sure you don't want purple glitter?
Purple. Positive. I'm positive. And that's got the Filtertrons in it, which is kind of cool. So,
actual Filtertrons?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Nice.
How about that? And it's so I'd be excited about that. I would be very happy with all of that. So that was a good one from our friend James Pennington.
James
Pennington.
Pennington.
He's out there in West Virginia. So hello in West Virginia. All right, Dave, we really appreciate you being on the show. Where can people buy these amazing pedals you've been talking about?
Well, cool. Thanks, Todd. So go over to seafoampedals.com, and for you knobs and all the listening knobs out there, we're going to do a 15% off discount.
Nice.
So just enter discount code guitar knobs, and we'll apply that.
Fantastic.
Sweet.
I think yes. That's so. There's gonna be a whole bunch of new Seafoam green pedals on boards. I can feel it. I can smell it. A bunch of little lighthouse knobs out there and stuff. Awesome. Well, we really appreciate that. It is very generous of you, and especially in these trying times we're in, everybody needs a little helping hand. So, awesome stuff from Seafoam Pedals. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate y'all.
You bet. Tony Baloney, you want to thank a few people, and then we will outro ourselves, and Dave can get back to his beautiful family.
You got it. So we have a group of supporters that are patrons of this podcast. And if you're wondering how you might just want to be a patron, I want you to go to patreon.com/the guitar knobs. You'll get there, and there's a couple of different levels in which you can participate, and each level comes with an incredible bevy of prize packages, not to mention qualifications for giveaways. Oh, the giveaways. Oh, there's so many giveaways. There's a special level. We call it our executive producer level. And one of the things, in addition to all those great things like barefoot buttons and t-shirts and stickers and picks and all kinds of things, one of the things that executive producers get is, Jared,
you get to have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So I would like, along with all of our other knobs, like to thank our executive producers. And let's start with, I'm going to go from our oldest producer, not by age, but by participation. Mr. Tom Barazin, Martin Cliff, John Daly, Chris Carney, Darren Gregory, Doug Christ, Michael Van Zant, Ken Sayers, Brian Robison, Michael Senchuk, Stefan Lamb, Johnny Knowles, Anthony Lathrop, John Anglin, Tyler Bray, Brad Partridge, Chris Heidel, John Esterly, Tim Nowak, Doug Gann, Justin Jones, Brett Alexander, James White, Matt Hart, James Pennington, our provider of the Would You Rather this evening, Adam Johnson, Mark Garton, and Steve Keys.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
What?
Wait, stop. Todd, do not interrupt me, because I was on a roll. There's a level that's part of the executive producers.
That's right.
But they're very, very special. They get 2 varies. And we like to call them our grand poobahs.
That's right.
They are our fez-wearing brethren that help support this podcast and put a smile on all the listeners' faces.
That's right.
So let's thank our grand poobahs, Jonathan Jerusik, Corey Nigro, David Kaminga, Cody Lane, Cody Foster, Sean S.
Yes.
And Tommy Manasco.
Right on.
Thank you, each and every one of you.
That's right. Thank you so very much. Tony Baloney, where can people find you?
Well, let's just say you need a special pick guard for a special someone. Maybe it's your wedding anniversary, and you want to have a special pick guard put on your guitar. Go over to pickguardian.com and check out some of the things that I have to offer. There's some things that you can order straight off out of the gate, but there's others that I just have some ideas listed. If you need something, shoot me an email. We'll discuss it, and we'll get something together for you just perfect. You can also see some of the projects and things that we talk about on my Instagram feed, which is Pick Guardian and the number 1.
And Jared, how about yourself?
Well, if you need some pickups, go to BrandonWildPickups.com, see what I have to offer. I do stuff that's new that looks old to match your old guitar.
Or your new guitar.
Or your new guitar, whatever you want to do. And I do rewinds and all that good stuff. So
do you have old stuff that looks like new?
I do. But you can see that stuff on Instagram.
That's
and
true.
I do not sell that on the website.
That's true.
So, yes, huh?
Yeah, it makes some fantastic pickups, everybody. You can send me an
Hey,
email.
Todd, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, they can send me an email, todd@theguitarknobs.com. You can also DM me on Instagram. I love talking with everybody. We would love to hear your would you rathers.
Definitely.
We need new would you rathers. And we want to hear from people out there who are in different kinds of genres and into different things and all kinds of stuff. So send those in, and make sure you go over and check out Dave Denton's work at Seafoam Pedals and get your 15% off with the Guitar Knobs code. That is outstanding.
Nice.
Heck of a deal. Dave, thank you again so much. We really appreciate you spending the time, and we're glad that we finally got this episode done.
Same here, Todd. Thank you, guys. Jared, Tony. Great talking to you guys.
Yeah,
it takes a pandemic to bring us all together and get a full episode.
Yes. Continued success to you, my friend. Everybody else out there, have a great guitar week, and subscribe!
Yeah.
Getting all sweaty and stuff. Jared.
Or less.
Jared, stop.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I know.
can't hear you. What?
That's right, Jared. Just play all the strings.
All that dang old business. Tell you what. I'm using all my fingers.
American woman. This is what I say. That's a really hard song to sing and play at the same time.
Especially if you don't know the words.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.